steals a phone is sentenced to death
Well,
or life imprisonment.
maybe what you are saying is that we should redefine the volume of items stolen, allegedly stolen. Otherwise, stealing is stealing in law, you know.
And should get the same punishment.
Yes, if you steal, you have stolen, and you are charged under a particular section, I think section 3 to something of the criminal code, and you are punished for stealing. But what you are trying to say, and which I share with you, is that we should take a second look at the provisions of the law as regard punishment for corrupt practices generally. Then we can look at that. That if you don't forget, we also have we have a law that part of the law takes care of returning what you have stolen. It can be recovered from you. They can proceed against what you have acquired with what you allegedly, what you have found to have stolen. So that is already there. But like I said, it is the implementation. I'm aware that in some few cases the EFCC proceeded against properties acquired by those that have been convicted of fraud. We have that law. So like I said, it is the implementation. The law is already there. So, but we can take a second look so that we'll make it not too easy for the rich that have stolen to escape from justice.
Now, let me bring in a whole lot of people are so interested in this. And Amzat Ahmed says Nigeria needs a total reform such that the National Assembly and all elected leaders earn as the same as civil servants, thereby reducing attraction.
That is one of the ways to reduce attraction. And we are left with 1999 Constitution produced, doctored, and nurtured by the military. The dynamics of the society has made it such that we need to rejig that Constitution. And that is what the Constitutional Conference tried to do, the last conference that was held. And quite a lot of their recommendations are very good for implementation, to change and reshape our society. As much as the current government has said it may have nothing to do with it, we continue to ask that they should not throw away the baby with the bathwater, because there are some recommendations that are good for our society. Society is dynamic. We cannot remain at a place all the time. And what happened 10, 20 years ago should not be what is going on today. Today, as we speak, it is virtually impossible to implement a military coup d'etat in Nigeria. Virtually impossible. Why? Simply because of the wanton leap in technology. So we should also be looking at such leap in other aspects of our national life. Blocking loopholes is very, very essential. And one of them is in the oil industry. Why is it that the petroleum industry bill that is supposed to engender development in that sector and block some loopholes has not seen the light of the day? Why? It's a very critical question. This is the 8th assembly. The first time that bill was brought to National Assembly was the third assembly. It has gone through 5 assemblies, and this is 8th one. 4 assemblies, this is 8th one. The 5th one that has gone through. And it is still, now we have up to 4 different versions. Nobody now knows which is which. So these are some of the problems that the president has met on ground. And I agree with him that it is not easy to clean the organ staple, but speed is needed because the nation is rotting away. The economic sector is crying, is bleeding, because that is what part of the problem that we have, even in terrorism problem. Because the command structure, the pyramidal structure of the nation is being affected somewhere before the tip of the pyramid. And we need to really get there and be able to appoint people who will work with the president and give a clear direction to our national politics.
So how soon do you think this should happen? Because I know that, in planning, you have to put timing.
Yes, you need to put timing.
You have said it is too early to start, assessing the president on
anti-corruption.
Anti-corruption.
Yes, not on all fronts.
Okay, so how soon do you think all of this should start?
We expect that the president should, as a matter of immediacy, appoint people that will work with him. He must not appoint all at a time. There are key sectors that need appointment. For instance, the office of Attorney General. We need to appoint an Attorney General.
Mr. Zako, let me just come in here. This issue of appointment.
Yes.
Have you also noticed that the states are not appointing any?
The states are appointing.
No, not many states have appointed as many commissioners as they should.
Many of them
What
are
are
waiting
what
for
happened?
federal government to appoint so that
Why?
they will know
Are
the
they
man.
not also looking at
No,
running their
no,
state?
the way-
Because it's a federation.
The way
yeah.
politics works in Nigeria, when the federal government finishes its appointment, they will now know the men who are left behind, and then they will now know whether to fix them in the states. When those who cannot be appointed ministers are appointed ambassadors, chairmen of boards, and all of them, then those who cannot fit into the federal structure will be appointed at the state structure. Otherwise, they begin to foment trouble for the governors at the state level. So the tardiness in appointment at the federal level is also affecting the speed at which the states will move. So it is important. Now the president is saying that the party supremacy must be respected. That tells you that the water has to flow from the head down to the root.
Mr. Obe, you're
Yes,
going
I
to
was
say
going to say something. Talking about, discouraging attraction. We are trying to discourage most of the people that, contest elections into this National Assembly and gubernatorial position. Most of them, they have the intention to go enrich themselves, to go exploit government, exploit the government to make money. Now, that is the attraction. But for few that want to actually come and deliver good governance, that is also the attraction. I am very sure by the time the president implements some of the things we feel he has for us, those who have the wrong intention or who are attracted to contest elective position for the wrong reasons will be discouraged. And the agitation we are currently having over the salaries of members, members of the National Assembly, if it will gradually come to affect the remuneration and allowances being paid to them. We are gradually noticing that they are denying some, the agency in charge of remuneration will come up to say, no, this is what they are paying. They say, oh, no, they are exaggerating it, but the fact is clear that they are receiving much more than we Nigerians expect them to receive. So once that is addressed and the leakages are blocked, do you know how much we spend during the election? They spend so much to get there. We need to discourage that. You understand? That is part of the wastages I think the president should address. Because if you look at the amount you spend on INEC, the amount the parties expect you to spend as a candidate, the amount you spend during electionary campaign, if you put it with the last elections, I'm very sure we spend not less than 100 billion naira, generally, among all the parties. That should be reduced. That money can do a lot of things.
That's the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, come on.
The other-
That's just not less.
Let's put you lawyers on the spot here. Mr. Okechukwu, we'll come back to you, Mr. Okechukwu, but let's put the lawyers on the spot here. The governors are not, the CCB chairman talks about them not declaring their assets. Some of them have not paid salaries. And we do know that there was a lawyer that many of you talk about, you look up to, late Danny Fayemi,
Yes.
who sometimes on his own would take some of these governors to court and get landmark judgments. Have you, lawyers, thought about doing that for your own state, for instance?
I think you are right by asking that and expecting that the legal professionals should take up the challenge of defending
The law.
the law and defending the people. But we have some peculiar challenges, and then that challenge is challenge of resources to prosecute some of those things. Because we are inundated by the lacuna in the system. Let me use myself for example. I am more interested in giving a pro bono case for that indigent person who is locked up in prison because he does not have money, less than using the same time and resources to defend the state that on its own has all the resources to protect itself and defend itself. So it is neither here nor there. I cannot expend my resources, for instance, to prosecute matters against my governor on issues that he intentionally did, either for his selfishness or the otherwise.
Okay, let me
so
bring,
I'll
let,
better
let,
defend,
Mr. Daniel,
I'd rather defend
in that case,
person
with that
who
submission
does
now,
not have money to defend himself.
with that submission now, Mr. Daniel, who then defends the law?
The principal officer in charge of defense of the law is the Attorney General of the Federation. Then the lawyers get briefed to defend the law for particular purposes.
So
then sometimes
if the
the
political
lawyers
office
on their
holder
own,
breaches the law.
no, if like my colleague rightly